If you're doing any kind of serious, complex technical work right now, I'm willing to bet you're juggling 5, maybe 6 or 7 different tools just to finish a single task. It's a completely fragmented, frustrating way to work, isn't it? Well, Anthropic just quietly shipped something that collapses all of that friction into one single unified environment. Today's explainer is all about this massive update. We're looking at a preview of the actual blueprint for the future of AI-assisted work, and it's going to completely change how we think about productivity.
Seriously, ask yourself, are you drowning in browser tabs, spreadsheets, code terminals, and separate AI windows just stacking up on your screen? It's a painfully relatable problem. Researchers and technical pros normally have to bounce between dozens of databases, each with its own schema, plus notebooks, statistical software, and cluster terminals, all just to get absolutely anything done. It's a massive headache, it wastes time, and it totally breaks your focus.
Okay, let's dive into this. The old way is just incredibly heavy on friction. You've got scattered databases, isolated terminals, and disjointed notebooks. But this new way, introduced through an app called Claude Science, completely changes the game. This really fits into Anthropic's broader push to be way more than just a model provider. They want to own the operating layer for specific industries, kind of like how Claude Code has become the operating layer for software development. They're literally collapsing everything into one streamlined space. To understand this shift, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The broken AI workflow. 2. Inside the Claude harness. 3. Real-world agent pipelines. 4. The AI platform race. And 5. The future of human judgment. Section 1. The broken AI workflow. So what actually is Claude Science? Basically, it's a new app designed for scientists that you can run locally on macOS and Linux or on a remote machine. But here's the crazy secret about it. It's surprisingly not a new model. Anthropic is actually very upfront about this fact. The product runs the exact same Claude model that everyone already uses, like Opus 4.8. There's absolutely no special access and no gating involved. Moving to Section 2, inside the Cloud harness. So if it's the exact same model, what's actually new here? Well, the real breakthrough isn't some magical new intelligence. It's the scaffolding built around the model to erase all that friction we talked about. We're talking about a harness that turns a general-purpose AI into a highly specialized working tool. Let's peel back this layer and look at the mechanics. The crucial entry point here is the coordinating agent. Think of this as a central AI harness equipped with over 60 research-oriented skills and connectors for highly complex fields like genomics, proteomics, and structural biology. It connects directly to your data, it runs code, it remembers its entire history, and it can even spin up other specialist sub-agents. But here's the absolute best part. It comes with a reviewer agent. This reviewer checks references, runs calculations, and flags things that don't hold up, literally catching errors before a human ever even sees them. And this brilliantly illustrates a shift towards solving a massive problem in the space, which is reproducibility and deep privacy. Researchers have been begging for reproducible AI forever. With this structure, every single chart or figure arrives with the exact code and environment that produced it, plus the full message history. You can literally edit graphs conversationally. Just tell the agent to drop the grid lines, and it rewrites its own code. Plus, your raw data never leaves your lab's infrastructure. It runs locally or connects via SSH, so you never ever have to transmit private data sets to the cloud. Section 3, Real-World Agent Pipelines. Let's shift gears and see how this builds into practical applications. Now, yes, it's branded for researchers, but stick with me here, because the underlying pattern matters for everyone, even if you never touch a protein database in your entire life. This is the exact shape of every AI tool coming next. Let's break down this first real-world workflow from Jerome Lecoq over at the Allen Institute. He used this to build an automated pipeline for producing full scientific literature reviews. It goes like this. Step 1. The agent receives a research question and the source papers. Step 2. Sub-agents get to work extracting key findings and drafting the review section by section. Step 3. That reviewer agent meticulously checks every single citation against the source material. And Step 4. It outputs a complete, fully cited, multi-hundred-page review document. Work that literally used to take his team up to 2 entire years is now massively automated. It's just wild. Here is exactly why this matters to you. Notice this universal pattern: input, structured extraction, automated verification, and then polished output. Try translating that outside of science. This exact workflow applies perfectly to competitive research, technical documentation, literature synthesis, or honestly, absolutely any task where you are drowning in source material and need something rigorous, traceable, and polished out the other end. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it entirely removes infrastructure headaches. Normally, running serious computational jobs means writing tedious job scripts and troubleshooting environments. But not anymore. Step 1, you just describe the job in plain language. Step 2, the agent drafts a plan and submits it directly to your existing computing resources, scaling up as needed. Step 3, the agent actively monitors the job, flagging real-time errors. And step 4, you get your independently validated analysis. It completely automates all that setup friction. And the results are just staggering. At UCSF, using this exact infrastructure approach allowed a research team to complete a comprehensive genetic analysis in roughly 1/10 the time it previously took. 1/10! To put that in perspective, that's turning a 10-month project into a 1-month project. AI here isn't automating the human thinking, it's automating the friction, the setup, and the manual switching. That is the true breakthrough. Section 4, the AI platform race. Let's slow things down for a second and look at the broader competitive landscape. Because, this technology doesn't exist in a vacuum, and we need to be very honest about the current limitations of these platforms. Claude Science has a really clear direction, but it is still in beta. These outputs should absolutely not be treated as a final scientific conclusion. Humans still have to verify the results and the statistics. And remember that incredible reviewer agent we just talked about? Well, it's still fundamentally the same underlying intelligence checking its own homework. It is not an independent source of truth just yet, which is a highly meaningful limitation if you're relying on it as your only safety net. The broader race here is fascinating because the major players are placing completely different bets on the exact same problem. Anthropic is betting on broad subscriptions and building operating layers like Claude Science. OpenAI, on the other hand, is going much narrower with proprietary enterprise-gated tools. Meanwhile, Google DeepMind owns foundational science models like AlphaFold, which everyone else can only call as external tools, and they bundle them into their own Gemini for Science platform. It's genuinely unclear right now which of these three distinct approaches is ultimately going to win the AI platform race. Section 5, the future of human judgment. This brings us to a massive philosophical shift happening in all skilled work. When we look past the specific features of these new tools, we start to see a fundamental change in what human work actually means in the age of AI. Consider this quote: "Once generation becomes cheap and fast, the work that remains is judgment, auditing, validating, and correcting." That isn't a knock on the technology. That's just an honest description of what skilled work has always required. These AI systems are getting incredibly good at mastering the repetitive middle. But the edges, the final judgment, that still firmly belongs to a human being. I want to leave you with a provocative thought. If these AI tools increasingly use subagents to review and correct their own outputs, at what point does human verification become the actual bottleneck instead of the safeguard? It's a serious trade-off we are all going to have to sit with very soon as these systems evolve. I really want to know your take on that question because I read every single one. Like, share, and subscribe, please. Drop a comment in the comment box below if you want more of these explainers where we go past the headlines and dig into how these systems actually work. Make sure you stick around. See you next time.